Wait, old luxury cars are unreliable? Who would say such a thing? But used luxury vehicles are seriously some of the worst investments a person could make while looking for transportation, and that is why today we are going through a handful of the worst offenders in this category. Simply put, the cars that you should never buy, starting with the Mercedes-Benz, or what I like to call the Mercedes-Benz, which is the W220 S-Class. And it is a perfect example of why cheap luxury doesn't always mean smart buy. At first glance, it's got everything that you could ever want. The timeless styling, the plush seats that feel like you're hugging them, or they're hugging you, and enough high-tech features to make a spaceship jealous. The problem, everything in the car is working against you. One of its biggest flaws is its love for flooding. No, not from a hurricane or a rogue wave, just regular rain. The car's poor drainage system allows water to seep into the cabin, soaking the carpets and shortening out the signal acquisition module, or SAM, which is just as expensive to replace as it sounds. If that doesn't ruin your day though, well, there is the air suspension that may very well do it instead. The airmatic suspension is fantastic when it works, but when it inevitably fails, your once majestic luxury sedan turns into a low rider in all the worst ways. A single air strut replacement can cost upwards of $1,500, and trust me, you won't be replacing just one. Add in the constant electrical gremlins, failing command system, and over-engineered features that just refuse to work, and suddenly, that cheap S-Class looks a whole lot more expensive. If you're thinking about picking one up, do yourself a favor. Just don't. And I know it's really hard. These are really cool cars, but unless it's a perfect low-mile example that has had everything and you inherited from your dad and he said he would pay for the maintenance, I'd stay away. But if you want to find any other car, well, use the pinned first comment via Auto Tempest. You can find them cheap. I found all my cars there and I pay less than market on every single one, so go check it out. If the Mercedes S-Class is the king of expensive problems, then Audi A8 is the quiet assassin of your bank account. It's kind of like your ex-girlfriend or ex-wife. It doesn't scream money pit the way some unreliable luxury cars do. It whispers it right before it absolutely destroys your savings. On paper, the A8 seems like a fantastic choice. It has Audi's legendary Quattro all-wheel drive, I could say that 100 times, and a sleek, understated design that makes you feel like a billionaire, and an interior that's basically a rolling 5-star hotel. But here is the thing. Everything in this car is designed to fail at the worst possible time. The air suspension will eventually give out. The emblem on the front of the grille will fall off, leaving you with an A8 that either rides like a brick or sags to the ground like it's giving up on life. The engine, especially the V8s and the W12s, burn oil faster than a 2-stroke dirt bike, meaning that you're either gonna be constantly topping it off or dealing with catastrophic engine failure. And then there's the transmission. The ZF automatic is great when it's working, but once it starts slipping or hesitating, just go ahead and start looking at bus routes. Fixing or replacing it is gonna cost you more than the car is worth. The A8 is what happens when a car is engineered to be too complex for its own good. Sure, it's a dream to drive, but only if you're prepared for the nightmare that is ownership. BMW, the ultimate driving machine, but also, in the case of the E65 series, the ultimate regret machine and the ultimate depreciation machine. Anyway, this generation of the 5 Series was controversial when it was launched, thanks to its weird, crisp bangle design styling, and that's the least of your concerns if you're thinking about buying one of these babies. The real problem, BMW decided to push the limits of how much maintenance a single car can possibly need. Yes, you heard that right. First up, there's the engine. BMW introduced condition-based servicing, which means that instead of changing your oil every 5,000 miles like a sane person, the car told you when it should be changed. The result? Owners pushed their oil changes way too far, leading to sludge buildup, hardened seals, and complete engine failure. The timing chain guides are another disaster waiting to happen. Once they fail, your engine is entirely toast. Then there's the iDrive system. This was BMW's first attempt at an all-digital control system, and let's just say it didn't go well. The interface was confusing. The heat was done by one designer, and then the radio was done by another. So the up, down, left, right, that you used to do on N64 to get like special codes when you were playing NBA. Anyway, the screen would just glitch out, and it was more of a frustration machine than anything else. Throw in constant electrical problems and failing water pumps, and suddenly that used 5 Series seems like the worst decision of your life, unless you like spending weekends at the repair shop. The E60 might be better left alone. What? Another German car? Can you tell me how surprised I am? Okay, the Volkswagen CC is our next pick on the list, and it looks high-end with its sleek coupe-like styling, but under the surface, it's just a Passat with more problems. The biggest issue? The DSG transmission. While it's fantastic when maintained properly, most owners skip the required 40,000 mile transmission service, leading to junky shifts, expensive repairs, and eventually complete failure. The 2-liter TSI engine is another headache, guzzling oil like there's no tomorrow and developing turbo issues that can cost thousands to fix. And let's talk about the electronics, or lack thereof, because they don't really work. I mean, it has infamous gremlins. The CC is no exception to Volkswagen's horrible electrical issues. Window regulators fail, climate controls stop working, and random warning lights pop up on the dash like a EDM show. And to fix all this stuff is just as pricey as buying any other car on this list and not maintaining it. So we would advise against this guy. Okay, up next is the Maserati Quattroporte, and listen to that exhaust note. The only thing more unreliable and expensive to fix than a German car is an Italian car, and folks, here is Exhibit 0. I know, this car is sexy, yeah, it sounds like heaven and drives really well, and people are always going to turn their head to stare. But here's the problem. People aren't staring because they're impressed. They're staring because, well, the Quattroporte is broken down on the other side of the road. Again, same place as last week. This car is like dating somebody wildly attractive but completely unstable. At first, everything is perfect. You're seduced by the Ferrari-derived V8, the exotic styling, and that intoxicating exhaust note that makes your soul happy. But then the problems start, you know, and suddenly you're rethinking every life decision that led you to this moment. And let's start with the Duo Select automated manual transmission, which is Maserati's way of saying we took a regular transmission and made it worse. The shifts are rough, the clutch burns out in record time, and if you don't replace it every 20,000 miles, congratulations, you're stranded. Later models switched to a ZF automatic, which is better, but by then Maserati had already scared away half of its buyers. Then there's the electrical system, which is so unreliable that it makes old British cars look dependable. The window switches, the navigation system, even the gauges, everything has a mind of its own. And don't even think about replacing any of these parts cheaply because this is a Maserati. Even a simple repair is gonna cost Ferrari money. And let's not forget about the parts availability nightmare. Need a replacement alternator? Get ready to wait months for it to ship from Italy. Even basic maintenance is expensive, and when something actually breaks, which it will, your bank account is in serious danger, which is my middle name. If you've ever thought about buying a used Quattroporte, take the money and invest it in literally anything. A Toyota Camry, a beater Honda Civic, a used bicycle. It doesn't matter. Anything is a better decision than this Italian heartbreak machine. Now, if Maserati is that unstable supermodel of the car world, then the Range Rover Sport is the rich kid who constantly borrows money and never pays you back. Everybody knows one, and if you know one, hit the like button. I bet there's gonna be 1,000 likes. It looks like the kind of SUV that tells the world that you've made it, but in reality, buying a used one just tells the world that you've made a huge mistake. Right out of the gate, the biggest problem is the air suspension. When new, it gave the Range Rover that signature smooth ride. When used, it turns into an unpredictable ticking time bomb. The air struts will leak, the compressor will fail, and before you know it, your once stately SUV is sagging like a deflated bouncy house. Each repair is easily $1,500 plus, and trust me, it's not just one repair ever. Then there's the cooling system, which is about as durable as wet tissue paper. The plastic coolant hoses like to melt, turning your engine into a rolling sauna. Overheating is common, and if you ignore it for too long, congratulations, you just won a free engine replacement bill. Oh, and the dashboard. Come on, it is a disaster. Warning lights pop up at random. The infotainment system freezes more than an old Windows XP computer, and the power accessories fail one by one like they're playing a sad game of dominoes. And let's not forget about the maintenance costs. I mean, this isn't just a case of luxury means expensive repairs. This is next level. You're looking at repair bills that make Ferrari owners nervous. And what's worse, even if you do spend all that money fixing it, there's no guarantee it won't break again a month later. If you're thinking about buying a used Range Rover Sport, just set your wallet on fire instead. At least that way, you'll save yourself some time. Okay, and now it's time for an honorable mention. Yes, we have featured a lot of German cars in this video, so I'm gonna give you an honorable mention that shares the Range Rover's home country, the Jaguar X-type, and you think about buying a Jaguar, well, you're thinking about stepping into British luxury and prestige. And in reality, buying a Jaguar X-type means just stepping into an unreliable Ford wearing a fancy costume experience. The X-type was Jaguar's attempt at the entry-level luxury sedan, but instead of making something unique, they just slapped some leather and wood on a Ford Mondeo. The transmission, not great. The transfer case leaks like a faucet, and electronics might as well flip a coin every time that you start the car. Jaguars are supposed to be elegant, and the X-type is certainly elegant from the outside looking in, but it's just simply not worth the headache of getting a few thumbs up from 65-year-old men at the gas pump. If you want to impress people, just buy a used Lexus LS instead. It's just as comfy and will last you a lifetime or more. So there you have it, 7 used luxury cars that seem like a dream but will turn into an absolute nightmare. Sure, they do look cool. Sure, they're packed with fancy features, but unless you love expensive repairs, random breakdowns, and questioning all your life choices, you should definitely stay far, far away. If you've ever owned one of these money pits, well, I'm sorry, but drop a comment down below because I want to see the bad, the worst, and even the worst of the bad. I'll be hanging down there as well. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and check out these Ideal vids over here. I'm Brad, this is Ideal. We'll catch you next weekend. Promise me one thing, keep living the ideal lifestyle.